Welcome back. So tell me, as a new business owner, a small business owner, might have been in business for a number of years, do you ever experience overwhelm, overload? It's one of those things that is very, very common when the buck stops with you. You're feeling like, man, I need to do all the things. I need to be all the things to everybody all the time. And we get caught up in thinking that that's what people expect from us. And what people expect from us is to be human. And that means that we're willing to acknowledge that we can't do it all the time. So what happens, money is tight. You might be bootstrapping this business of yours. Your business might be growing like crazy and you need to be hiring people and you're feeling like the money's not there. And so you start taking on more things. You're learning all the things. You figure, I can do it myself. I can learn this. I'm intelligent. And you do. And it works for a while. And then it doesn't. Everything starts to fall apart because you don't have the bandwidth. And it's okay not to have the bandwidth. But when you are the business owner, there's a lot of pressure on you. And it takes honesty that there are things that you're capable of doing. Absolutely. You can do them. But you don't excel at them. You don't love them. You're not efficient at them because they're not inherently who you are. I'll share with you, for those that have been listening to the podcast for a while, you know Trev and I took a 4-month sabbatical, we'll call it. We did an RV road trip across Canada, down the east coast of the US, and then back through and up the west coast. It was wonderful. And something that I committed to myself, that when we got back and I started up the podcast again, I was not going to be doing the editing. It was something that bogged me down. And it's not something that I was good at, that I was proficient at. There was resentment in me that I needed to take this on when I really didn't need to take this on. And it was interesting. We got back in December and I didn't start the podcast up, but I think it was June. I got back because I was wrestling with this. Oh, Rhonda, stop it. Quit being such a spoiled brat. It doesn't take you that long to edit. Isn't that big a deal? And I kept on going back and forth with myself, but I was holding the line at, no, you said that when you came back that this was going to happen. You need to find somebody to edit this podcast. Through mutual acquaintance, discovered someone that they had used and thought, okay, well, I'm going to give this a go. And so I hired what is known as a VA, and that's a virtual assistant. I pay the virtual assistant to edit the podcast. I create the podcast just like I'm doing right now, and then I send it. And it gets edited. All my bloopers and ums and ahs and things, well, not all of them, but some of them get edited out. I don't have to think about it again. I can move on to other things that I'm good at. Editing podcasts isn't one of them. Another challenge that you come up with is time. Time is tight. Sure, money might be tight and you're not feeling like you can hire full-time employees, but then your money's tight. Okay, so how many hours a day are you working? 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20? That's what happens with small business owners. The buck stops with you. It's got to get done. And depending on your level of how do I say this? Control freakishness. You are taking on more and more and more because you figure, if I'm doing it, it'll get done. Or I want to know that it's done this way, so I'm going to do it. You're taking on all of these things because you're fearful of giving that control over to somebody else. That's unhealthy. You can free up time by making sure you have people in place. That's their shtick. They love doing that particular thing. And they're good at it because they do it all the time. And they can do it faster, more efficient, and more accurately than you can. The other thing that you may be finding is that your energy is low. I mean, you are fatigued. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of calories to have that brain processing all the time. You need help. And it's okay to need help. So I got thinking about, how can I help you lighten your load so that you can go about in your business doing the things that light you up and doing the things that you're really good at, you're skilled at. A way of doing that is through hiring virtual assistants. There are virtual assistants all over the world who are ready, willing, and skilled and able to perform many, many of the tasks that you have on your plate right now. It's a simple process. You have a conversation with somebody, you get recommendations, you check their testimonials, you check their work, you check how you interact with them, and are you comfortable? Do you like how they communicate? And you come to an agreement. This is what is going to be done, and this is the amount of money that is going to be paid to perform that task. And you let it go. They do that task. And you may find that the virtual assistant that you hired is skilled at several different areas, and you add to that. So over the next number of weeks, I'm working right now at a lot of my contacts that are in different niches that I feel you as a small business owner probably could outsource. And when you outsource, you're going to free up time, you're going to free up energy, you're going to free up emotion to be more present to do the work that you are good at. Here's your homework. Write down, what are the things that you love to do in your business? What are the things that light you up? What are you really good at? Write those out that you're currently doing. Write them out. And then write out everything that you are currently doing. Whatever that list is. If it's pages and pages, and make sure you capture everything that you're doing. And it's going to be difficult for you because a lot of times you aren't registering everything that you're doing. It's become so second nature to you, you don't even see it, but you're doing it. Make sure you write all of them down, and then take a highlighter and highlight those things that you excel at, the ones that light you up. What you're left with is a bunch of unhighlighted things, and now we're going to look at, how do I outsource that? Does that make sense? And as I say, in the next coming weeks on the podcast, my plan, if it all comes to fruition, is to bring on VAs, bring on companies that have VAs, that have a group of VAs that look after myriad of things. But understanding what's out there for you that you could leverage to free up time to work in your business where you excel, the things that you love to do. You are not great at everything. None of us are. We excel at certain things. That's the zone that you need to be working in. That's the zone that every single one of your employees needs to be working in. And again, we go back to the people gardener principle, the right person in the right spot at the right time. Yeah, you want people working where it is just inherently who they are and they fit so well. You are human. You cannot do it all. Sorry, that's a fact. So let's get you some help. And we're going to explore over the next number of weeks the virtual assistant world that may be just the ticket to have your company be able to move and explode to the next level. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you again next week.